Hello, everyone. Welcome to 321 Gang's webcast, Making Business Agility Measurements or Metrics Effective and Easy using Jira Align. My name is Kara Rawlings, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about 321 Gang before we get started. So 321 Gang has many years of experience successfully deploying enterprise-scale development tooling and processes in support of software and cyber physical system builders. In 2014, we launched our SAFE training and transformation business, and we even contributed to the development of the framework. This combination of expertise makes our gold solution partnership with Atlassian a natural fit to help our clients accelerate the benefits of Agile at scale with a truly enterprise Agile planning tool like Jira Align. We focus specifically on software and systems engineering tools and processes at 321 Gang. On February 24th, we're hosting the first of our three-part series of webinars that will demonstrate how Jira Align facilitates pre-PI planning, and PI execution. I will be posting the registration link for the first two of the three-part series in the chat box, so please feel free to pass the link along to colleagues that might be interested. So we'll be taking questions throughout the webinar, and please type them into the chat box as you think of them. We'll be having a Q&A session at the end, and we'll address them. So I'd like to introduce our presenter, 321 Gang's Senior Solutions Consultant, Samit Mehta. Samit is a Senior Solutions Consultant and SAFE Program Consultant. He began his career as a software and systems engineer at Texas Instruments, Defense Systems, and Electronics, and has soon moved into a solutions architect role at Rational Software, which was acquired by IBM. In this capacity, he helped organizations improve development practices in areas such as iterative product development, DevOps, and engineering, as well as supporting the deployment of tools in support of those practices. Since joining 321 Gang, Samit has been training and coaching organizations as they adopt lean and agile principles and practices using SAFE and is the technical lead for its Jira Align business. And that concludes our intro. And Samit, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Kara. So good leaders and high-performing teams base their decisions on facts. However, when working in human-based systems like product or system development organization, you must go beyond just data to make good decisions. Measurements are a proxy for what you really care about, and so should be used with care. As leaders and team members, you will make better decisions when focusing on desired outcomes. It is important to interpret the measures in the context of those desired outcomes and not make the measures themselves the focus. The program leadership at one of my clients noticed that a database team was not completing over 30% of their stories planned for several sprints, and it was impacting the results of the entire program. Instead of just focusing on this data, they dug into additional data and discussed it with the team. They realized that the root cause was that the team was getting bogged down by unpredictable set of incoming maintenance requests during the sprint. Now the program leadership were able to brainstorm solutions to the actual issue, and they helped boost the morale of the team that was seemingly causing the program to fail, but wasn't really the case. So what we'll be covering in this presentation is what can you do to focus on outcomes, the metrics and KPIs, a framework that helps you formulate the right set of things that you should be measuring using some frameworks like scaled agile frameworks and good DevOps practices. We'll also talk about the tooling aspects, so how Jira Align can help support your existing tools such as Jira or Azure DevOps and other tools you might have in your engineering groups. How Jira Align can then help you bring some of these metrics to make it easier for you to manage by measurement. So one of the challenges that many organizations run into is there's so many things you can measure, and there are tools that do it for you automatically, or you have to configure the tools to ensure that you're getting this data. And so there's lots to measure, lots to track. The focus should be, what are we trying to achieve with these measurements? And that's what the Scaled Agile framework provides, a very nice set of ways to mechanisms, practices to put forth certain ways of measurement. So Scaled Agile framework has three measurement domains that it recommends. Outcomes that focus on, do our solutions meet the needs of our customers and the business? It's focused on what you're going to try and achieve with various metrics and various measurements. Now, what should you be measuring to ensure success for your organization, for your end customers? Flow type metrics provide you a way to understand how efficient is the organization at delivering value to the customer. And then competency metrics provides you a way to determine how proficient is the organization in the practices that enable agility. The framework, Scaled Agile framework, provides a guidance at every level of scale, from agile teams to agile release trains, to solution trains, to safe portfolio, each level having a set of metrics in each of those categories we talked about. So outcomes, flow, and competency. And goal around this is to try and ensure that you're focused on, at every leadership, at every level is focused on identifying which measurements will help them achieve the right outcomes from the team, or the teams of teams, or the entire portfolio. So some of the best practices that are recommended are using OKRs, or objectives and key results, to track outcomes. So setting goals is a mindset. What do we do next? What are we trying to achieve? So objectives are the what. They describe the path forward, the place you want to be. Key results are the how. They provide the roadmap for accomplishing your objectives. For example, one objective could be, we want to be the #1 product in developing countries. The key results could be making those devices or the products more affordable at certain percentage of developing countries. Notice the measurement and the time frame. So this is a KPI that your organization can come up with to ensure that they're measuring the right things in order to track the results. So these various key results can then be delegated through decomposition of these high-level objectives into objectives at the next level in your organization. This could look something like this. You could have enterprise objectives that provide the high-level key strategic objective or goal that you might have, and those get broken down into OKRs at the portfolio level that then provide the individual portfolios to set goals in their particular part of their organization. and at each level, and then they decompose those into very clear objectives for the next level, the programs or the agile release trains. And those then can be tied into the various team objectives that each team is working on, so that you have a clear traceability of how you're trying to achieve the high-level strategy through objectives throughout your organization. So these collaboration of creating these should be done at each level. So for example, the leadership at the enterprise would work closely with the portfolio leadership to determine what the key objectives at the enterprise level would be, and how they would get broken down into portfolio objectives. The portfolio leadership then works closely with program leadership to ensure that there is buy-in on the high-level objectives that they came up at the portfolio level, as well as ensuring that there's clear guidance on what the goals for that program or set of programs is, so on and so forth. So this allows a collaborative process for defining a achievable, measurable, and clear set of guidance on how they are going to be measured through key results, the description of the key results that are being sought. The roll up of the outcomes via the KPIs that are being measured, as well as the actual progress on the work associated with that each of those objectives, is what allows folks to be able to see how they're progressing towards those initiatives, key initiatives. At the team level, Scaled Agile Framework provides a mechanism for tracking planned versus actual business value delivered by teams. And that allows a way for the teams to be able to track, ensure that they're focused on delivering value. So one of the challenges that organizations run into as they're transforming is to get sucked into some of the trends in metrics that are more vanity metrics. They look good to others. They don't really inform how the future strategy is. And they're not necessarily actionable. So yes, you might find out that this such and such metric doesn't look good for your organization, your team, but you may not have the ability to make any kind of improvements, or you make some kind of an illusion of improvements, and sometimes it's fudging the numbers to look good is quite a common practice that is kind of fostered through focusing on these vanity metrics. And you have this feeling of, well, we've made some progress since these metrics look good, but in reality, you're not getting the outcomes you really seek. So an example of vanity flow metrics, if you're looking at, we were just talking about outcomes, now moving to flow-based metrics. Vanity type metrics in this area would be tracking how many stories have we completed, what number of story points that have been completed, comparing story points completed between teams. These are mechanisms that seemingly feel agile and feel like are the right things to do when following agile methods, but they really don't yield the results that the organization is seeking. Some of the best practices around this is to select key lean, agile, quality KPIs and reports that help you ensure that you are getting the outcomes that you need. As mentioned earlier, sometimes measurements are not enough. So you have to also ensure that you're thinking about this always in the context of the outcome that you're really looking for. So the metrics that you seek to actually look at, make sure you have a clear indicator of what the goal behind looking at those metrics is. And once we understand what the metrics reveals, what kind of decisions will be taken based on the results of those metrics. This helps the teams and the leadership work in concert to make sure that they're always focused on getting good results, good outcomes. And one of the things that you want to be watching out for is gaming of the measures. There's several Dilbert cartoons you might run into where the Dilbert's manager is providing, hey, we're gonna be providing a bonus for every time somebody discovers a bug or solves a bug. Well, guess what? The team decided to create bugs on purpose just so they can game the system and gain some bonuses, additional bonuses out of that. So that's the kind of kind of thing can happen in reality, and you want to watch out for those. And the other thing that is nice is if you're able to, especially around flow-based metrics, are able to capture those as part of your normal work and not having people to jump hoops in order to gather such metrics. So they should be part of the practice and yielding some benefit in order to get those metrics. And so these are some examples here that you might consider as flow-based metrics. One of the things that is nice in tools like Jira Align is that you have some of these already built into the tool set. So this is a screenshot from Jira Align that just shows how you can look at it at the program level, the various burn down and burn up information, ensuring that the team and the management is able to track to what the objectives were, the original objectives set during the sprint planning or program increment planning, and ensuring that your path is going to be able to achieve those goals in the the time box allotted. So this also allows you to drill down, for example, to in Jira Align to individual teams so that you can actually ensure that you have an idea of how each team is progressing towards each goal, not only just the whole program. So that's the type of information that helps you keep track of potential issues sooner than before before the end of the time box when it's too late to fix anything. Other things that you can look at, again, this is a process flow, cycle time, and rolling average on each of the process steps that you might have in your Kanban, portfolio Kanban, or the program Kanban, where you're able to determine where are the issues potentially spending more time in which state, so that you can identify potential bottlenecks, and how the teams are addressing those in a timely fashion, so you can start seeing if those trends over time can be addressed. So these kinds of metrics allow you to help make sure you stay on track to meeting your objectives. Now, moving on to the third part of the is the competency metrics, which Scaled Agile framework provides assessments for each of the core competency as well as the overall business agility area too. So each assessment allows you to identify what are the things that we can improve on. And then the Scaled Agile framework provides what they call grows that help you understand how can you make improvements in the areas that you require improvements. The goals should be to identify key priority areas that you would focus on improving on a regular every quarter. So every quarter you come up with the top things you will focus on improving, and you make sure that you're prioritizing them based on the outcomes you're seeking, and putting those in your backlog so that you can actually take actions. That's what the safe grows are meant to provide, that allow you to improve in those areas. And there are measurements that you can continue to monitor your improvement with. The common anti-pattern there is that people do the assessments, but then don't look for clear actions on how to improve and make sure they set aside capacity for the team to focus on improving. Otherwise, you're essentially from sprint to sprint, from program increment to increment, you're seeing the same issues stagnate. So vanity metrics in an agile transformation could be examples like the ones given here. One of the things that often teams focus on and also leadership sometimes can, management can focus on, is given focusing on utilization, on measuring and improving utilization, and reducing what they call overhead. This may be because of the promise of agile methods making teams more productive. And so they think, well, we should be measuring productivity in order to ensure that we are doing, we're improving our agile transformation, we're improving with our agile transformation. Focusing on utilization and other similar metrics is a type of micromanagement that usually stems from management not trusting that the team can self-manage or whether they can do the job. So instead, instead of focusing on the utilization metrics, helping the teams improve on self-management, on improving their predictability are some of the techniques that could be used. So here are some examples of actionable metrics in an agile transformation. You're looking to get outcomes such as reducing cycle time, improved predictability, improved team motivation, and these, all of these, depending on which area you want to focus on improving, have some appropriate measurements that you could use to help measure your improvement over time. And this is what you can look at examples of this inside of Scaled Agile Frameworks grows is to help you with these kinds of things. So one of the very useful metric that helps not only the teams focus on delivering value, but also it helps also track how well is the team over time improving over the program increment to increment, improving in delivering predictably. So this program predictability measure is a great way for teams to help track what business value was expected at the start of the program increment, and how close they got to delivering that business value that they were targeting. And then seeing the trends of this, and that's the graph at the bottom right, helps you identify whether the team's improving over time with predictability. So for example, here team A is completely out of control with their development. It's not, they don't have a clear path to predictability. And so that's where the team can look at how can we be better at predicting what we're going to be delivering and also achieving what we set out to do. So in Jira Align, here's a screenshot of a similar type of chart that can be done at the program level, and then you can drill down and look at the individual teams' results, as well as roll it up at the portfolio level. So Jira Align has, in essence, a way for you to provide that ability to solve that the challenge of agility at scale, so that teams can continue to use the tools that they already have in place, like Jira Software or Azure DevOps, but then roll up that information into Jira Align so that it can be tied into the strategy, the objectives that you might have at each level, at the executive level, at the portfolio level, solution level, program level, and at the agile team level. So it allows you to see that all in a transparent way, which is another best practice, is having this information available at your fingertips in a transparent way just improves trust and helps teams build trust with their management, so that they don't have to do that micromanagement. They trust the teams can self-manage and continue to do self-improvements, where the leadership is playing more of a role of a coach and providing guidance on how to make those improvements and where to make those improvements. So with that, we kind of come to the near conclusion of this. So if you have questions, please start typing it into the chat, and I'll be starting to answer. So just to summarize, the Jira Align provides this ability to align every team to strategy through those OKR hierarchy that we saw in a slide form, but there's tools and reports that can help you do that inside of Jira Align, manage that well inside of the Jira Align, as well as you get real time metrics for tracking your progress, tracking your flow in your team, in your Agile release train, or at the solution level, or at the portfolio level. So you're able to see that transparently. Leadership doesn't have to come up with mechanisms to capture these type of metrics. The tool just does it as part of the work that the individual teams or teams of teams are doing. Okay, so with that, let's break for questions. Kara, if you can help me determine what the questions are.
Okay, sure. We do have a few. So the first question is, can you have solutions level OKRs in between portfolio and program level?
Yes, great catch. Absolutely can. And the tool does provide that. The diagram I showed was just simplifying it for teams that are not a large solution, don't have a large solution layer, but Jira Align absolutely supports solution level OKRs as well. Thanks for the question.
Great.
Next.
Okay. Please talk about leading versus lagging metrics.
Yes, so the idea behind that is to help you ensure that you are the leading type metrics help you foresee what may be coming down, what issues might be coming down, versus lagging metrics tend to help you determine what is already potentially an issue or things that need to be addressed immediately. So having indicators that provide you that potential issue might be forming, like we were looking at the burn down chart versus a burn up chart. Burn up charts are typically leading indicators that help you find potentially, hey, the scope is increasing and our team's not keeping up with it right now, so we could have a potential issue where we may not meet our goals by the end of the program increment. So that's what leading versus lagging metrics can help you get a different type of view in how you're progressing, how your flow is being improving in your teams, or maybe an issue in your teams. Thanks, Kara. Next.
Great. Okay. How are the KPIs used to measure key results in OKRs calculated in Jira Align?
Yeah, so Jira Align provides a mechanism for you to track these inside of these KPIs inside of the tool, but you may not have automatic calculation of things. So for example, the examples we were giving, hey, we want to know that we have rolled out the pricing of the product that we're rolling out in order to improve that availability for our developing countries. We want to make sure the pricing matches what the developing countries can support. That metric may not be automatically calculated. You have to have separate mechanisms of tracking that and gathering that, and then you can not tracking that, but gathering that information through working with your marketing and working with your pricing team, and then entering that into Jira Align so that you can see the trends of that, how many countries are able to afford based on the pricing that has been set. So that's the kind of information that typically comes from other mechanisms that you might have to gather those type of KPIs, and you just track the trends inside of Jira Align against the goals, the objectives that you have. Thanks, Kara. Next.
Okay. So you show features and stories as distinct items. Are they essentially the same thing?
No, they are not. So features are separately managed in Jira Align as a separate work item type, supported at the program level, so that you are essentially tracking features just like Scaled Agile Framework recommends, completing the features in the span of a program increment, which is usually a quarter or so. 10 to 13 weeks is what Scaled Agile Framework recommends. And you can have features are broken down into stories, where the stories would be completed in the span of an iteration, approximately 2 to 4 weeks in most organizations. So these stories are decomposition of features. They're not the same. Thanks, Kara. Next.
Okay, great. If our organization has its own enterprise data lake, how can we get access to the Jira Align data?
Yes, so Jira Align has a tool called Enterprise Insights. It's their BI tool, which efficiently extracts all the data and normalizes that into a simple SQL database that you can then access through tools from your enterprise data lake to grab that data and make it available in your enterprise data lake, so that you can possibly use that, customers use that to correlate data across Jira Align and other tools, data from other tools, so that you can consolidate that into a single report. You can utilize the same mechanism to accessing Jira Align data from something like Power BI or from Tableau or some tool like that as well. So Enterprise Insight supports that as well. Any other questions, Karen?
We have one more.
Okay.
Can we create custom reports in Jira Align?
Yeah, so similar answer. So the Enterprise Insights provides you that ability as that data is extracted from Jira Align into a normalized SQL database. You can then utilize Tableau or Power BI to create those reports. Jira Align itself has 150 plus custom built-in reports that you don't even have to customize, as long as your data exists in the right objects that you might have in Jira Align. The reports just work, and each report has a clear description of what the intent behind that report is, as well as how to ensure that you have all the right data captured as part of your process in order for the report to work. So typically you should be able to find in lots of cases a report that meets your needs within Jira Align. However, larger enterprises might need to slice and dice the data slightly differently or correlate it with other tools. That's where the Enterprise Insights helps you create these custom reports through other tools. All right, is that any other questions that have popped up?
Nothing else has come in. So looks like maybe we'll wrap things up. And I just wanted to let everybody know that if you think of anything else, you have any additional questions, please feel free to email us at either info@321gang.com, or you can email Samit directly at samit@321gang.com. Please click on the link that I put in our chat box if you'd like to register for our session 1 and session 2 upcoming webinars. And this webinar was recorded, so you can view it in the future under our resources tab at 321gang.com, and you can share it with your colleagues. Thanks, Samit, and thank you all for attending.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.